in the middle of the sugya of Loshon Hora, but I say we're in the middle of the Hakdama, the introduction, to explain the severity and importance of knowing and learning and hopefully implementing the halachas of Shmiras Loshon. Last time we discussed why the Chofetz Chaim opened up and wrote the Sefer on Shmiras Loshon, and we explained that there are two halakim ben Adam Chaver ben Adam L'Mokim. I want to mention to you what the Chofetz Chaim says in Shmiras Loshon. He says like this. This is a very interesting thing. He says that there are people that look all around the world for scholars. Everybody likes a scholar, right? You want a scholar for Parnasa, people want a scholar for Shalom Bayis, people want a scholar for a Shidduch. Everybody wants a scholar for something, right? And people run around the world going to Kvarim and going to, Tzaddikim, and it's beautiful, and they should, and it's wonderful, right? Right? But, Zug the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, what our people don't realize is the greatest scholar is what's written in the Torah. The greatest scholar is what the Rabbeinu Shalom tell us, what Chazal tell us. And that is what we mentioned last time, if a person wants life and he wants a good life and he wants all that comes together with that, he has to learn to be able to watch his speech. He has to be able to realize what he's saying and how it can affect others and of course himself as well. The Chofetz Chaim would say that if people would listen to what I would say, I would advise them that if they know and they want good parnasa and they want everything else, they should be careful in Shmiras Loshon and the respect of other people's feelings and property, and through that they will be blessed better and more than any other scholar that exists in the world. That is the greatest scholar that I can hand, okay? And that's how important a person has to be with this. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah, famously, Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Daf Yud Testament base, where the Gemara tells us that Rabbi Alexandri went around and he said the following: Man boy chaya, who wants life? Who wants life? And you can imagine when he said that, they thought there's some magical pill that will make a person live longer and have a more productive life and whatever. So everybody gathered around him. And the Gemara told us, he said everyone, oh, you want the skula, you want life? No problem. Right? Basically, watch your mouth, guard your mouth, be careful what you say. Asks the Heilige Chidah. The Chidah asks, why does the Gemara say twice, man bar chaya, man bar chaya? Who wants life? Who wants life? Why did it say it twice for? Was he calling out to the Olam to say it loud or no? What was the purpose of saying twice the Heilige Chidah to tell us who wants life in this world and who wants life in the next world? When a person watches and guards his mouth, he is able to have a life in this world and a life in the next world as well. The Chofetz Chaim brings a Vilna Gaon. Rabbi said, listen to this. We're only in the introduction right now. We have to get to halachas another time. The Chofetz Chaim brings the Vilna Gaon saying that if a person muzzles his mouth, and for every moment he muzzles his mouth, he's zoicha to a or hagonus, to a hidden light that even the malachim cannot comprehend. Now, by the way, I want to explain that for a moment. That is, people, and we've discussed this by other averas, but it's specific, especially over here. Sometimes a person will say, what does it help if I've got a juicy bit of Loshon Hora to say? I'm going to say it, but not now. I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to stop myself for 5 minutes not to say it, but I'll say it in 10 minutes. Does it really help? At the end, I'm saying it anyway, right? So what's it help? The answer is no. The Vilna Gaon says for every moment that you stop yourself and you prevent yourself and you don't speak the Loshon Hora against somebody else, so the Vilna Gaon for every moment, an incomprehensible that the Malachim cannot fathom, the Or Hagonas, the light that you will get just from muzzling your mouth just for a few moments. Okay? When you speak Loshon Hora, that's a different affair. But for that section of time that you say, I'm not going to say it now, I'm going to push it off. I want to say it. I really want to say it, but I'm going to wait. You will not lose the schar of waiting, though. The schar of waiting will be yours. There'll be an affair for the saying, obviously you can't get away from that, but the schar of actually waiting is incredible. And by the way, this applies to many mitzvahs. It applies to many averas. Right? We've spoken about different averas at a different time, when a person prevents himself, stops himself, even if at the end he loses the battle, and he does it, but that waiting was a success. That waiting was a hatzlacha. Okay, in fact, recently I was discussing with a boy this exact sugya. And he said to me, at the end of the day, I'm doing the avera anyway. So what's the point? I fall every time. Yeah, I managed to prevent myself for an hour, for 2 hours, sometimes even a whole day. But what does it help? At the end of the day, I do the avera anyway. That's what he asked me. So, one second. So I answered to him the following. And I said, I hear. But you have to realize, if you focus on the success, meaning, if you focus on the times that you prevented, that you stopped yourself, that you delayed it, that is the success. Maybe you fell in the end, but start to focus on the success. When you focus on the success, that will mimela promote more success, and therefore you'll be able to stop yourself in the future as well. Yeah?
Like the Rebbe came over, he said, you push it 5 minutes and it might not even...
That's right. Okay. Let's move on, Rabbi Say. Okay? The Chofetz Chaim brings a beautiful mashal. Listen to this. Can you imagine? In the olden days, they didn't have Sfarim stores, right? So you used to have a guy who used to travel with like a wagon full of Sfarim, and people, from town to town, and people would purchase from him the Sfarim that they needed. It was very, very exciting because Sfarim was not easy to have. Not everyone had a whole library of Sfarim, no base medrash and shul had that many Sfarim either. So to buy Sfarim was great, yeah? So can you imagine, said the Chofetz Chaim, the following scenario, yeah? A guy is desperate to buy a shas. He has loads of money, and he wants to buy himself the most beautiful shas that exists, okay? Suddenly, into town rolls in this guy with the wagon, and he says to him, tell me something, what is the most beautiful shas that you have on sale in your little wagon? So the guy says, wow, I only take it out for like special people and special occasions. I don't take it out stam because it's really expensive. He's like, whatever it is, I'll pay for it. No problem. He takes out, goes into the back, digs it out from the bottom, did this most beautiful, gorgeous, leather-bound shas. And in those days, it wasn't like you go to the local store, get a leather bound with your name on it. It was a real thing. They had to do it by hand, every volume, right? The whole shas, it was beautiful. The guy says, how much is it? I don't care whatever it is, I'm paying for it. I want this shas in my house. Right? It matches the wallpaper. No, I need to learn from it. It's really important. I want to have it covered at Torah, whatever. Gewaldig. So he buys it, and he's so excited. He's so excited to have this shas. It's unreal. Unreal. After he hasn't opened it up yet, it's put it on the shelf. The peddler's gone, the wagon's gone, the Sfarim store's gone. He takes out to show his kids, I want to show you the shas. Takes out the one volume, whichever Masechta was, irrelevant which one it is. Takes it out, he opens it, all excited to show them, right? Opens it up, empty. Nothing there. It's like, hold on a second. So in those days, you have to remember, it wasn't like printing press like nowadays. It's like more with stamps. Or maybe you forgot this page, turned it over, empty. Okay, maybe this volume is bad. Takes out the next volume, empty. What? I've been like, hello, you know how much I paid for this? It's ridiculous. I spent a fortune on this. Zog the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, listen carefully what I say. Zog the Heilige Chofetz Chaim. A person will be in this world, and he'll work hard, and he'll learn Torah, and he'll do mitzvahs, and he'll steig, and he'll try, he'll do whatever he can. He'll come to the next world, waiting in anticipation for his wonderful reward, for his learning Torah, for his doing mitzvahs. And it's going to be empty, because he spoke Loshon Hora in this world. And he spoke words that erase and get rid of all of the good that he has done. That says the Chofetz Chaim, if we knew how powerful this Avera was, and how detrimental and how damaging it is to our own reward that we worked so hard to get. Zog the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, you change your life. The Chofetz Chaim says if you knew the severity of Loshon Hora, your hair would stand on its end. Do you know what that means? We don't understand it, we don't chap it. We don't realize it. In Parashas Tetzaveh, we know Chazal tell us the various items of clothing of the Kohen Gadol. And the items of clothing that the Kohen Gadol wore very often served as an atonement, as a kapara for Klal Yisrael's Averis. What atoned for the sin of Loshon Hora? The Me'il. Yeah? Did you say that? Yud Torah? Similar. Yud Torah was by that, yeah. I heard that. I heard it, by the way. Okay. So the Me'il was an atonement, was a kapara for the Averis of Klal Yisrael when it comes to Loshon Hora. What was one of the very interesting aspects of the Me'il? Does anybody know?
Bells.
No. No.
The fact that it says one bell.
It was fully tcheles.
Oh my God.
It was fully tcheles, okay? It was fully tcheles. Why tcheles? Because tcheles is the color resembling the kisei hakovod. What is the connection between the Me'il, that's the kapara for Klal Yisrael, for Loshon Hora, and tcheles, which represents the kisei hakovod? Yeah? So the Chofetz Chaim explains, and he brings this question down. And the Chofetz Chaim brings the Tana D'Velio. The Tana D'Velio brings down that Loshon Hora rises all the way up to the Kisei HaKovod. That means when a person speaks Loshon Hora, it's not just in the air. It doesn't remain a conversation. It goes all the way up to Kisei Kovod. Zog the Chofetz Chaim Eshein the Tonit V'Eliyahu. How do we know that? Because the Me'il represented the Aveira of Loshon Hora. It's a kapara for Loshon Hora. The Me'il was Tcheles. Why was it Tcheles? To resemble the Kisei Kovod, to show us the connection that when a person speaks Loshon Hora, it goes all the way up, straight to Kisei Kovod. Rabbi say, I don't think we realize the potency, the severity of how our speech can affect someone else and affect ourselves. Can you imagine what the Chofetz Chaim said about that shas? We work so hard in this world, we learn Torah, we do mitzvahs, we're Moshe Nefesh for the Rebbeinu Shalom and for his mitzvahs, and we're going to get up there, it's going to be empty, and we're going to be like, hello, am I in the wrong place maybe? What's going on over here? Where's everything? Where's all my work? Where's all my mitzvahs? The answer is, it went. Gone. Because you spoke Loshon Hora. When a person speaks Loshon Hora, it can cause tremendous, tremendous damage. A person has to realize what it can do for him, what it can do for others as well. Of course, there's tshuva, and of course, when you do tshuva, that can be gavaldik. And like every avera, there's always tshuva, and tshuva can erase the avera.
But 30 years of my life, I'm giving tzedakah to nurses.
It's damage. One speech of Loshon Hora can rip the whole thing apart. That's right. If we realized, again, this is our problem. Our problem is that we all, I don't know about you guys, but maybe me, we grew up as if like, okay, Loshon Hora is like, you shouldn't do it. But like, no. If we realized how bad it was, not a single person would dream of speaking Loshon Hora, because it's one of the worst things you could do. It's brought down, by the way, Chofetz Chaim brings all this to Shmiras Loshon, that when a person does an Aveira, that Aveira, listen carefully to this, when a person does an Aveira, that Aveira goes up, but doesn't reach Kisei Kovod, right? It stops somewhere before, okay? Now, that means you cannot get in trouble for that Aveira. You can't get punished for that Aveira because it hasn't reached Kisei Kovod yet. So you can basically do all the Aveiras and it won't get like Ki'ilu mentioned in heaven, so therefore you won't get punished. Oh, but the problem is the moment that you go along and you speak Loshon Hora, that Loshon Hora goes all the way up to Kisei Kovod and it schleps along with it all the Aveiras that were waiting to be mentioned. Boom! You speak Loshon Hora, every Aveira is now mentioned in Shemayim. So Rabbi said we're probably dealing with the most chomo, the most stringent, the most important, the most destructive thing that a person can have and do and say. That's why we did this last of Ben Adam Mechaveru. I don't want to scare you guys and talk about first, like what's going to be after this. This is the climax, this is it. This is the worst thing you could do. Ben Adam Mechaveru, Ben Adam Lamokum, you've struck everything down, it's a disaster. Rabbi say we have to learn to watch our speech, to be careful, to think, to be sensitive, to realize, like the Manchester Rosh Yeshiva said, there isn't a household in Klal Yisrael that took upon themselves to learn 2 halachas a day of Shmiras Loshon that did not see a Yeshua in their lives. You know what that means? When a person learns Shmiras Loshon, you see a Yeshua in your life because you learn to be sensitive. You learn to realize that you've got to be careful what you say. Are you going to split up? Sometimes sometimes you slip up. That's okay. Right? What we're discussing, Loshon Hora, is more of a Baal Loshon Hora. A Baal Loshon Hora is a Baal Loshon Hora means you're the owner of Loshon Hora. You're the guy. You're the Baal boss on Loshon Hora. You're the guy that runs around telling everyone in the back of shul and by the mikveh, you know what I mean? You're the guy. One-time thing, all right. Sometimes it's Avada, that's an Aveira. When the Chofetz Chaim says a Baal Loshon Hora, that's a much worse stage than a regular person who just spoke Loshon Hora. All of this happens. But a Baal Loshon Hora is much worse. Baal Loshon Hora means you're the Baal Loshon Hora. You speak Loshon Hora as a habit, as a normality. Rabbi say, we have to learn to watch our speech. We have to learn to think about the halachas, to concentrate on the halachas, to learn the halachas, and to watch what we say to others. In Mitzvah, we have to get to the halachas as well.